And, of course, you negotiated four deals, I guess, with Steinbrenner. How was he? Well, then there are some people who say he was mean. I know he made these threats, but as you just said, Billy said he's just hot air. But was he mean?
Yeah, he was. He had a side to him underneath that was just as sweet and as soft as you could imagine. But then sometimes he had this other side that would come out, and you thought you were dealing with the devil. I mean, the guy could speak with, in a very articulate, wonderful, accommodating manner, and in a heartbeat, he could use language as vile as Tony Soprano. The guy could get all over you. I remember one time I was in his office, and he was yelling about something that he insisted that Billy do, and he was yelling so loud that the windows in his office at Yankee Stadium were kind of vibrating. I couldn't believe it. And he pointed at a file cabinet, and he said, "You know what I got in here? I got stuff on Martin, and I'll make it public if he ever crosses me or says anything bad about me." I couldn't for the life of me figure out what he had. But he went on to make some statements about what he had in the file cabinet. He said he had some tapes. He said he had some photographs, and he said, "Look, don't make me use these." Well, I thought that the guy at the time was almost engaging in some kind of an extortion effort.
Sure.
Turns out that he swore later that he was just BSing me. He didn't have it, but he was desperate to try to get Billy's attention. A second or two later, in walks Bill Fugazi, and Fugazi's sister, I believe, was a nun. I think that she passed away here recently. She came in, and Steinbrenner's mood changed, and he became the sweetest, nicest guy in the world, incapable of being the guy that he was about 30 seconds before.
Where in Yankee history does he fit? I mean, is he as important to the Yankees as Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle?
Well, I really think that's a question to ask the sports writers and the analysts and people like your friend Lupica and Warner Wolf, whom I remember from the old days when I would feed him some stories. He was over at WABC. I don't know if Warner is there now, but
oh yeah,
or can you remember this? But I used to love Warner, and I'd slip him some stuff, give him some information. I'd give him.
How about now? Don't you like Warner now?
Well, I love Warner now. Yeah, yeah, I like Warner a lot. I always have.
Well, of course, it sort of sounded past tense there. Like maybe we could stick Warner in the box with George.
but I'm as to
we got about a minute left, Doug.
Okay, as to where the guy fits in. He's got to be right up there for what he did. Now, there were a number of years that he had control of the team, when they didn't win. I don't know what, in fact, there were many, many years after 1977, 78 that when he was running the show and when his leadership, the Yankees went nowhere. We sort of kept in touch over the years. He called me a couple years ago, and we sort of talked about the old days, and he told me one of the things he really missed was losing some of the managers that he had, and one big regret that he said, don't tell anybody, but I wish I could get Joe Torre back. And I thought that he had been mellowing and was mellowing to such a great extent, and I think he spent so much of the latter part of the years making up Iman for some of the earlier part of the years in his life. I think he really made up for any wrongdoing that he may have done, and he's got to be just a person that'll be looked at very favorably, for all told, for the kind of guy he was.
Well, one of the great figures in sports. Doug, thank you as always very much. I appreciate it. Doug Newton, the owner of Billy Martin's USA, who's Western Stores around the country, and Of course, the former agent for Billy Martin, Sparky Long, Whitey Ford, and Phil Rizzuto, Roger Maris, and those folks. It's